Welcome back to the Naster classes. If this is your first Naster class, well, welcome. And if you're joining us again, you know what the Naster classes are about. If you're just joining us, it's how humor and laughter get us through a difficult time. The reason I call it the Naster class, my last name is Naster. It's not a master class, it's a Naster class. Thought I'd have some fun with it. And the reason I wanted to share these stories with you and how to do this is because people have blessed me by telling me their stories, how humor and laughter have got them through a difficult time in their life. And that's how you get through it. You don't go around it, you don't avoid it. You do not laugh off an emotion. It's impossible. You feel it, you deal with it, and you move on. Just like that burp that I almost just had. I dealt with it, swallowed it, and moved on. Folks, if you can't laugh at yourself, you ain't going to make it. That's why you're going to see me in all these podcasts and all these Naster classes and all my presentations, laughing at myself when I catch myself doing something a little silly, a little goofy. You just have to laugh. Humor and laughter gets us through difficult times. That's why I wrote the book. Because people ask me, can you really get through difficult times? Well, the book deals with, I've got the chapters here. First of all, the difference between humor and laughter. There is a difference. How to laugh at yourself, the key. That is the key. Illness and injury. How do you possibly laugh through that? Tough jobs. Cops, firefighters, nurses, paramedics, EMTs, teachers. Any tough job. I don't care what it is. People have shared how they got through it. Bullying. How do you get through that? Danger. Dangerous situations. Depression and suicide. And then the big one, death and grief. How do you get through that? Well, those are all true stories in the book. People that have been through a difficult time. How can you possibly laugh through depression? How can you possibly laugh through suicide? My parents' next door neighbor, who I'm not permitted to use his name, told me this story. He was ready to end it all. He'd had it. He went and filled his car up with gas, put it in the garage, shut the door, sat in the front seat, turned the car on, and sat there, fell asleep. He said, David, I woke up the next morning realizing I was not only not dead, I was out of gas. He said, I walked to the gas station with my gas can and bought some gas. On the way back, I started laughing and realizing, I guess God's got another plan for me. And he got through it because he found a way to laugh. When you laugh at it, you bring light into it. Let there be light. One of the greatest comments we've heard in Genesis. I'll just say that. I was going to say the Old Testament, the New Testament. Let there be light. Let there be light. Yes, let there be humor. Let there be laughter. Why? Because in the heaviness, in the darkness, humor and laughter brings light and lightness. Both of those things. And that's what happened to that gent when he laughed at himself. The classic story that I tell every time I do a presentation, because it's so poignant, buddy of mine comes up to me after a presentation. He's a buddy now, wasn't buddy at the time. I did a presentation when Union Pacific and Southern Railroads were merging. They had me come in and talk about the value of humor and laughter. He heard the story that I told about how laughter helps us get through difficult times in humor, and he couldn't wait to tell me the story. He said, David, I went to see my best friend who was in the hospital. He had just got his leg amputated to diabetes. He said, there's nothing funny about that. I walk in the room, I'm crying. He's laying in bed with one leg laughing. I said, man, how can you laugh at a moment like this? He goes, how can I not laugh? Read that card somebody just gave me. And the card read, get well soon. I hope you get back up on your feet, crossed out feet and wrote foot. Is that funny? Yes, that's funny. Is it okay to laugh at it? You bet. Because he was laughing at it. And I said, is that okay to laugh? He goes, how can I not laugh? He said, I choose to deal with it this way. I'm going to laugh at it and make jokes about it. And there is the word, choice. Everybody in this book, how they dealt with whatever they were going through, they made the choice to let humor prevail and laugh. Because what happens when we laugh? First of all, when the humor that comes into our brain, all of a sudden now we're getting the joke, the funny thing about, foot, not feet. Our brain gets the joke. Okay, what happens at that moment? Well, first of all, we're not thinking about what's bothering us, or we're not worrying. That's the first thing. So our thinking shifts to something different. When we laugh, it's a physical reaction and we feel better. When we feel better, it reboots us and it can shift us around and approach what's ever bothering us in a literally lighter fashion and bring light to our darkness. Remember the court jester? Court jester made the king laugh. If he didn't make the king laugh, word was he got his head cut off. Well, folks, you tell me that's not a metaphor for humor and laughter. If you don't find a way to laugh and find some humor in the heaviness, you lose your head. That's what the book's about. That's why we have to laugh in life's most difficult times. So and I prove it in that way. And all these NASTR classes, that's what I do. You can get the book at NASTR.com. You also see some of the other books. This is actually a compilation about 6 books that I wrote, 6 books. And I took the best of each one of these categories and put them in this. I always wanted to have a manual book, and I always wanted to have a hardcover. So I did that. And people ask me, Dave, how do you write a book? You know how you write a book? I'll tell you how to write a book. You write the book. You write it. And know this if you write a book. Fiction, nonfiction. Books are not written. They're rewritten and rewritten and edited and edited. If you don't like to edit, you aren't going to write a book. You're not going to write a book. So that's now the other books, you just have to love the meaning of life. A really departure for me. I took true stories, how humor and laughter got us through the difficult times from people and how that brought meaning into their life. And then also, what is love? What is love? And because Einstein said nobody ever gave us a formal definition. So the back of this book right here actually reads, award-winning author David NASTR, yes I am, gives Nobel Prize winner Albert Einstein the explanation he searched a lifetime for. Yes, I did. Yes, I did. I sure did. It's a great book. The other one you see back there, Rough Seas. How do you get through a difficult time to move through? This is a true story. I married a woman from China. I went over there and met her and her family, brought her back to the United States, to my home, on a K-1 fiancé visa, and she disappeared. I don't know where she is, what happened to her. I worked on cruise ships for over 31 years. I decided to write a suspense novel about that, what happens behind the scenes on cruise ships, and marrying somebody from China disappears and what happens. I embellish the story a bit, of course, but it's a great story, and it's fun, and it moves quick, and it's funny, and it's going to trick you. It's a cat and mouse game. That's why people like suspense novels, and I found out I'm really good at it and like doing it. I thank you for joining this NASTR class, because this book will and when you get the book, and you want to give it as a gift, which is a great gift, do this. This is what I was taught from someone in hospice, and that is this. When you give someone the book as a gift, say, when you're ready. One thing you don't want to do with humor is force it on somebody who is going through a difficult time, because they may not want to laugh, and you can't make them laugh. But if you just leave the book laying around, true story, Michael Folke calls me. You don't know Michael Folke. I don't know who Michael Folke was. But he calls me and said, my name's Michael Folke. You're probably laughing at my name, but that's my real name. Yes, sir. Hello, Michael, I say on the phone. And he said, I got your book that our friend Paul gave me as a gift. And he said, first of all, I got to tell you, I'm a veteran. I was in Afghanistan. I am suffering from PTSD. And Paul thought the book may help. He said, so it sat on my coffee table for a month. He said, I was going to use the can. I go, I might as well look at the book. He said, so I'm on the can toilet. And he said, I find myself sitting there reading your book for 30 minutes, laughing. And he said, I realized something. For 30 minutes, I wasn't thinking about anything that bothered me. I was laughing. Folks, that's what I was talking about, what happens, that shift in our thinking. Then he said, I'd like to talk to you. Can we meet? And I said, yes, provided you're not on the can. I met with him, and he ordered a couple boxes of books to give to veterans all over the world to help them get through their PTSD. That's what you do. When you're ready, find a way to laugh. And as I say, stay amused. Thanks for joining this NASTR class. And please, share it with other people. Check out the podcasts. We have 575 podcasts to date. And probably by the time this comes up and you watch it, there could be a lot more. People from all over the world that I talk to, how humor and laughter helps them get through, not around, not off, but through a difficult time. And I can prove it. And that's what these Naster classes are about. Hey, let's listen to each other next time, and I'll join you in another Naster class. And as I always say, stay amused.